Gas car drivers are so narrow-minded. Electric car owners are so pompous and arrogant. Electric cars are the future. I mean, come on. Why don't we just all admit it? People with gas cars are just jealous. They don't seem to understand that we in the EV community are saving the world. We're saving the planet. You know, we're going to run out of fossil fuels, and it's just everyone needs to get on the bandwagon. I so don't understand why gas car people just don't see it. I don't understand it. They're rude, they drive smelly trucks, and I just don't understand it. We are saving the world. Electric vehicles are the future. They're better in every way. They're better in performance, they're better in efficiency, they're much more green. They are just the wave of the future. Why don't they just get it? You know, it's ridiculous. Who would prefer giving up the rev of an engine and shifting gears and turbochargers to have something quiet and just, I totally don't get it. Electric cars are not any more green than gas cars. Do you know where they get that lithium anyway? It's ridiculous. They have to build up the charging network and the electric grid to support it. And we already have gas stations, for Pete's sake. Why do we need all these electric car chargers anyway? You know, it's been this way for 100 years. Why would we want to change it? My goodness. I don't understand people that want their little electric cars and all the political implications and all the other garbage. Good grief. Gas cars are where it's at. They're cheaper. They're easier to deal with. My goodness, what's so hard about stopping to get gas? I don't understand why they don't get it. Why don't they just get it? So the debate rages on. You know, the reason that I wanted to shoot this video is a lot of this is just human nature, but when one group of people holds a specific position that is counter to another group, they tend to dig in their heels and refuse to see the other side's position on things. And part of this came about in my own mind because of a couple of things that my wife and I have encountered over the years. One great example of this in a different category is we have 3 kids, and we have chosen to homeschool our 3 kids. And it was a personal decision that we made. My wife decided to forego a career outside the home and the workplace, and instead to homeschool our kids. And friends of ours that are in the homeschooling community are just thrilled with it, and this is the most wonderful thing in the world. And friends of ours that have chosen to put their kids in public school or private school or whatever, they really don't understand, and it's both sides are very opposed. The homeschooling side says, well, don't you care about your kids? Why would you send them off to some school somewhere? The friends of ours that are proponents of the public school system would say, well, we're already paying for the schools. We live in one of the better districts in the area, so the schools are good, the teachers are good. What are you saying, that these teachers aren't any good? What makes you better than a professional teacher? And there's this division that's going on there. And over the years, I've begun to recognize that there's pluses and minuses really to each. And one specific method of schooling isn't right for everybody. And I really think that the same thing can be said for many categories or many areas of life. And cars are a great example of that. And so, you know, electric vehicles, I mean, I own one, but I also own 2 gas cars. This little Civic Si and a 2014 Ford Fusion all-wheel drive. I like all 3 cars. I'll be getting a Roadster when the Roadster comes out. I love electric cars. I mean, but they have strengths and weaknesses each. Now, I will say I do believe that the bulk of transportation is moving in the electric vehicle direction. However, we're not there yet. And even still, even if, let's say, the majority of the buying public were purchasing electric vehicles, we still, the gas vehicles that are out there are still going to be in use for some time. Also, chemical propulsion is still needed for things like, well, getting into space, but also aircraft, large aircraft like airliners. There's not enough energy density per cubic foot and per pound of battery weight to make commercial airliners viable in electric. I believe that will change eventually, but for now, we still need chemical propulsion. And I think that it's wrong for EV enthusiasts to try to bash gas car enthusiasts over the head with EVs are the future and they're the way to go and all this. By the same token, I believe that it's wrong for gas car enthusiasts to look at EV proponents as though we are narrow-minded and stupid people, because actually most of us are moving in the EV direction because we're educated on the subject, and this is the direction that we see vehicles headed. And I love a noisy roaring engine just as much as anybody does, and I think there's a place for it. But what gas car people need to recognize is there is also a place for EVs. Part of the reason that I'm getting a Roadster is to prove to the friends of mine that have ZR1 Corvettes and real hot high horsepower cars that EVs can be not just cool but really fast. My long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 is a pretty quick car. It's not crazy fast, but it's pretty doggone quick. And there's only a few cars, at least in my area, that would be faster. And and Teslas look pretty stylish. My Model 3, most of the people that I know that have seen it feel that it is an attractive car. I'm not going to solve anything in this simple video. I know I'm not. But I wanted to shoot this video to illustrate the fact that each side has a point, but also each side needs to recognize the other side's point. So I love my Model 3. I also love my little Civic Si. They're both great cars. This car was $23,000. My Model 3 was $56,000. Way more than twice the cost of this car. Almost 2.5 times the cost of this car. Kind of crazy. And so, but the Model 3 is a far better car. Well, is it better because it's electric, or is it better because of other things? I chose to buy my Model 3 for a number of reasons. One is because I drive anywhere from 35 to 50,000 miles a year. Last year I drove 48,000 miles for my business. And when you calculate the savings per mile, the Model 3 really makes sense. It's actually cheaper to operate than my Ford C-Max Hybrid that I had before that car. And my Ford C-Max Hybrid was cheaper to operate than the Toyota Camry I had before that. So it's, for me, it's financially worth it per mile. I also like the reliability. Historically speaking, in general, electric cars are far more reliable than gas cars. They require less involvement, less input. You don't have to be changing oil. You don't have to worry about shifting gears, which I know you don't have to shift gears on an automatic gas car either, but it's just electric cars. When I'm running a business, I can be on the phone. The car requires less input from me to get from point A to point B, especially with autopilot. And so that's great. I do love the technology. I like the look of the car. I like that it's quick. I mean, there were a lot of reasons that I got it. And I do believe that electric vehicles are the future. Now, that being said, however, I did not buy my Model 3 to save the environment. I'm in no way against people that are all for protecting the environment. There's definitely a place for that. But that's not the reason that I got my car. And yet every single video that I put up, I get about 4 or 5 people that obviously didn't watch the video that just chime in and immediately type, you know, your Model 3 isn't saving the planet no matter what you think. Good grief, you don't even know who I am. Why are people, drives me crazy that people in gas cars pigeonhole EV owners into one specific narrow little category. Environmentalists, you're all environmentalists. Or you're all just pompous rich people. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. And so, that being said though, the EV community tends to do a similar thing to the gas vehicle community. You know, you're uneducated hillbillies driving pickup trucks. You know, this is kind of the mindset, and I'm sorry to be you know, generalizing like this, but these are the things I see. And whether you guys want to hear it or not, I see it. I hear it on my channel. You know, I get, and there are intelligent people on both sides, and there's ignorant people on both sides. And you know, it's just, if you like your gas car, wonderful, awesome, bring it up on the channel. Hey, I've got a, you know, whatever, I've got a 2014 Corvette. You know, I've got a 2010 Mustang that I really love. I've got a, you know, BMW 325i. I think it's a great car. You know, whatever. Bring it up. That's fine. If you love EVs, obviously you're going to bring it up on my channel because it's mostly about EVs. But don't say, well, my BMW, these freaking EVs suck. My BMW is great or whatever, because that's the comments that I'm getting. Or the EV community chiming in and going, you gas driving idiots, get off the channel, or you know, you go pollute some other planet. And I get comments like that too. And it just drives me crazy that there's such a division. For one thing, these are cars, for crying out loud. It's a car. It's a car. I mean, you know, we're not debating world hunger here. It's a car. So my mindset is, if you're a car person, great. I'm a car person. Let's talk cars. My channel happens to be mostly about EVs, but let's just talk cars. You know, when I drive my car, the little SI that I have here, it's not, it's sort of a sports car. This is basically an econo box for car people. That's really what a Civic SI is. It's an econo box for car people. It's when you want a cheap, basic, you know, spare car. This is our third car. You know, and you're in looking, well, you may as well get the sporty version and have fun with it. That's what this car is. But I get a lot of comments, especially from younger guys, when I'm at the gas station or pull into the grocery store. If there's a, say, 18 to 28-year-old, a millennial, they'll usually comment, oh, nice car. And I say, thanks. And they'll ask, you know, how many miles does it have? How do you like it? And you mind if I ask what you paid for it? Generally, they're thrilled with the car. When I drive my Model 3 around and I park it, get out of the car, generally speaking, car people are thrilled with it. Is that one of those Teslas? Yeah, it is. What model is that? It's smaller than yeah, this is a Model 3. You're used to seeing the Model S. This is a Model 3. Oh, that's great. And I found that generally speaking, auto enthusiasts are excited to see any unusual car that somebody else is using. And but then you've got the extremists, and they seem to speak up more online than face-to-face. And part of that might just be that face-to-face, you know, you're not as willing to be rude because you're face-to-face with the person. You have very little at stake posting online. But honestly, I really think that you know, the EV community needs to just chill out and recognize the fact that people that love gas cars love them for a reason. They have their reasons, they have their logic behind it, and that's fine. The gas car community needs to recognize that EV enthusiasts, they have a place as well. And in fact, I brought this up in a previous video, that Tesla in particular has done a lot more for making tech people become car people. And the rest of the automotive enthusiasts out there should recognize that and be happy that the presence of at least performance and high-tech EVs is turning more people into car people, and that helps the automotive community as a whole. So, you know, again, let's cut each other some slack and recognize that if you're an EV enthusiast, you're probably not going to convert gas car people to your side of the fence. Hopefully you can have an honest discourse with the person and you can get them to understand why you hold the position you do. And people with gas cars, stop being so rude and harping on EV enthusiasts for somehow being narrow-minded and stupid. It's ridiculous. You know, EV enthusiasts are EV enthusiasts for a reason. It might be for the environment, it might be political, I don't know, but they are in it for a reason. For me, it's because I like high horsepower with efficiency. Before I bought this car, I thought, well, we were looking at a BMW Z4. I considered getting a Corvette, both a lot more expensive than this car. But the inexpense of this car wasn't the only reason we bought it. A lot of the reason we bought it is it's quick, it's fun, and it's really good on gas. Since I've been speaking for this video, I'm averaging 38.4 miles to the gallon. Oh, 38.5. The car's great. So I like performance with efficiency. My Model 3 is far faster than this car and 3 times more efficient. But it was also 2.5 times the money. So EVs give you performance and efficiency. That's what I like about them. And they're reliable. And I think they are the future. But again, there is a place for gas cars and electric cars. So anyway, what do you guys think? Go ahead and leave a comment in the comments section below. If it starts getting rude, I'll shut off the comments section on this video. So let's keep it civil, but by all means, bring up points that you'd like discussed. And if you have ideas for future videos, go ahead and let me know. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye now.